The participants who have joined, would you like to have any kind of discussions at the beginning? We will spend 5 minutes for about discussions, and then we will start the today's session. Can anyone confirm I am audible or not? Niyar, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay, then if we have any queries or any point to discuss or any point to just little bit elaboration is required, can you just okay, for our participants, I just let me initiate the whole process. Yesterday we have discussed about what is remote sensing. Yesterday we have discussed about what are the different types of remote sensing. Yesterday we have also discussed about what are the different types of platforms, different type of sensors, sensors of different categories like optical sensors, non-optical sensors, some of the basic properties of these different type of sensors. Then we have discussed about the electromagnetic radiation and the principle of transmission of electromagnetic radiation. Then we have also discussed about the electromagnetic spectrum and its different components. What are the short wavelength regions? What are the visible regions? What are the infrared regions? What are the microwave regions? And what are their basic properties as far as the information collection from the ground surface of the earth is concerned? So we have discussed all these things. Simultaneously, we have also discussed how these different bands of the electromagnetic spectrum is useful for what type of information collections. So these are some of the basics, and to some extent we have discussed a little bit about how we go about the visual interpretation of a satellite product or a satellite image to our need and to our requirements. So these are some of the things which we have discussed. Actually, the subject is very exhaustive, and we have within this 5 days of training, we may not have sufficient scope to discuss all the important components, but still then whatever we have discussed, this is going to be an innovative concept among our participants. I am sure that it will guide them how to go about this subject, how to make use of this subject, and then how to take forward this subject as a kind of skill building as well as a kind of science and knowledge. So this is how we have treated the subject yesterday and try to gather some of the basics and fundamentals of what this remote sensing is. And one important thing that I would like to again highlight here, that why this remote sensing is becoming important as a kind of data collection of the Earth's surface in comparison to the maps available. Because whenever we get a satellite image, normally there is a scope to compare whether I will use a satellite image or whether I will be using a map. Which one is more useful? Obviously, both the products are having their own usefulness, but remote sensing has something different than a map. Map can give us information, a remote sensing satellite image can also give us the same information. But the difference will be the remote sensing information will be real-time information. Means if I am requiring the information for today, I am going to get this from the satellite image of today. But if you are using a map, map cannot be a real-time information because map informations have been compiled based on some kind of ground surveys or some kind of data interpretations some time back. So it may not be real-time. The most important thing. Second most important thing is in a map there is a lot of symbolization that creates an advantage of reading the map for different type of information collection. But in remote sensing, we are getting the same informations in different tone, texture, color, combinations, associations like this. Those attributes are the elements of image interpretation, which is relatively important to study a map, study a satellite image. So we are supposed to look into that. So that is the basic difference. There is no symbolization in a satellite image, but it exists with the map. Then another important thing, if it is not a georeference satellite image, then it is not having a scale, but a map is having a scale. But if you indent a georeferenced satellite image, it will also give us a scale. By scale, you can know what is the dimension of the features that you are retrieving or studying from the satellite image. Then next important thing is remote sensing provides us the information in different spectral bands which map does not give us. So by different spectral bands, different features of the Earth's surface are responsive in different ways in terms of their radiation energy being sent to the sensors. So accordingly, water will be different in one band, the land will be different in one band, vegetation will be different in the another band, vegetation, dry vegetation will be in different, sand will be different. So like this, we have different bands for different type of features to extract from the satellite images. So much more details of the things can be possible. Another important thing in the remote sensing is over a time span with a time gap, we can also revisit the same scene or the same area with two different satellite images to study what are the change taken place within a given time, which map does not provide us. So like this, there are a lot of advantages in remote sensing, and further beyond that, with the adding technology of computer science and as of digital data processing, there has been a lot of advantage in processing this satellite data and getting the information to our desired level, where artificial intelligence plays a very good role in providing some of the decision making results from the satellite image to which map may not be efficiently possible. So like this, there is a lot of advantage. So people who are not even very much keen to use a remote sensing product, but whenever you are using a map, simultaneously that map must be of a very old timer. So in that situation, you can have a satellite image which are in public domain. There are a lot of satellite images available in the public domain to which one can download for a particular area where a study is going to take place. Even you can download the Google Earth image also, if not anything else. So like this, you are having the advantage of getting into information or a host of informations which are much more accurate, much more scientific, much more real time basis, having all the advantages of interpreting to a desired level of accuracy and the scientific pursuits. Okay. So can I request all our participants, anybody to ask anything? Any queries? Or we start the new presentation today? Hello? My dear participants, are you getting me? Should we start?
Hello.
Should we start the new presentation?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can start.
Okay. Okay, just check it. If I am visible, just confirm me so that I will go ahead with the presentation. Okay, am I visible now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Visible.
So today we are discussing something little more into details of these different components of remote sensing. That is, we are discussing something about the speciality of, because normally remote sensing means not just visual remote sensing or optical remote sensing, beyond optical region to which we cannot see things. Those things are being taken care of by these remote sensing processes. So remote sensing has an advantage over the normal data collection process by this. So those things we are discussing today. What is this thermal remote sensing, how it helps us? What is microwave remote sensing and how it is useful to us? Then we are going little bit of the visual image interpretation, then little bit of digital image interpretation, and some of the remote sensing applications which are going on within the country. We will try to have a wrap up of all these applications so that you know where you can be interested in your career if you are using remote sensing as a guiding tool for all of you. So let me start with the thermal remote sensing. So this thermal remote sensing is remote sensing using the thermal infrared band of the electromagnetic spectrum. So the sensor is a thermal sensor, and the bandwidth in which the informations are collected is 0.7 micrometer to 300 micrometer is the infrared region. Thermal infrared region is, and this is the infrared region, and within this infrared we have reflected infrared, near infrared, we have middle infrared or short wavelength infrared, and then we have the thermal infrared, which are two specific bands, 3 to 5 micrometer, 8 to 14 micrometer. So this particular band collect certain informations which are sensitive to the heat capacity of a particular object. So when we take a image using this sensor, thermal sensor and these bands, we are likely to get a picture where the picture will be brighter where the object is having a higher incident temperature, radiant temperature. Just like our visual image, wherever there is light, the object becomes brighter. Wherever there is no light, object becomes darker. That is what